Robert Ben Rhoades, also known as the truck stop killer, is one of the most chilling and brutal serial killers in American history. Born on November 22, 1945, in Council Bluffs, Iowa, Rhoades had a troubled upbringing marked by a lack of stability and parental guidance. His father, who was a soldier, took his own life when Rhoades was just a child, leaving a deep impact on his psychological development. Rhoades grew up to be a seemingly ordinary man, serving in the Marines and later holding various jobs, including as a long-haul truck driver. However, beneath his unassuming exterior, Rhoades harbored dark fantasies that would eventually manifest in a horrific killing spree across the United States. As a truck driver, Rhoades had access to a transient lifestyle that allowed him to roam freely across state lines, making it difficult for law enforcement to connect the dots between his crimes. He converted the sleeper cab of his semi-truck into a torture chamber, complete with chains, handcuffs, and various tools of torment. This mobile chamber of horrors became the setting for his sadistic acts, where he would abduct, torture, and murder his victims. Rhoades's reign of terror is believed to have started in the 1970s, though it wasn't until the 1990s that his crimes began to unravel. He preyed on hitchhikers, runaway teens, and other vulnerable individuals, luring them into his truck with promises of a ride or assistance. Once inside, they would be trapped in his sadistic web. One of Rhoades's most infamous victims was 14-year-old Regina K. Walters. In February 1990, Rhoades abducted Regina and her boyfriend, Ricky Lee Jones, who were hitchhiking together. Rhoades killed Ricky soon after the abduction but kept Regina alive for weeks, torturing her brutally. He forced her into disturbing poses and photographed her, creating haunting images that were later discovered by investigators. These photos became some of the most chilling evidence of his crimes. Eventually, Rhoades murdered Regina and left her body in an abandoned barn in Illinois. Rhoades's crimes might have continued unchecked if not for a chance encounter in April 1990. A highway patrol officer in Arizona pulled over Rhoades's truck for a routine traffic stop. When the officer approached the vehicle, he heard muffled screams coming from inside the cab. Upon investigation, the officer discovered a woman handcuffed and terrified, showing clear signs of abuse. This woman, who remains unidentified to this day, was rescued, and Rhoades was immediately arrested. After his arrest, investigators connected Rhoades's grisly trail of victims. Evidence from his truck and home, including photos, victims' belongings, and torture devices, revealed a horrifying portrait of a man who had been torturing and killing with impunity for years. The full extent of his crimes is still unknown, but he is suspected of murdering at least 50 people across the country. In 1992, Rhoades was convicted of the murders of Regina K. Walters and Ricky Lee Jones. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Later, he was convicted of additional murders and received more life sentences. He remains incarcerated, serving his sentence at the Menard Correctional Center in Illinois. The story of Robert Ben Rhoades, the truck stop killer, serves as a terrifying reminder of the dangers that lurk in the shadows of everyday life. His ability to evade capture for so long highlights the challenges faced by law enforcement in tracking down transient killers. Today, his case continues to fascinate and horrify those who study criminal psychology and true crime.